Are we rolling? What do you want me to say?
I guess tell us your name and your confession.
Okay. This can be hard. My name is the English Kiwi, and I broke my SMLE. Whoa, 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 whoa! Before you go grabbing your pitchforks and torches and sending out a Kiwi hunting party, I just wanted to say, here is the SMLE. It lives again. I have fixed it, and I will show you how I fixed it, and I will also tell you how I broke it. And just to prove it now, there's no magazine in here. There are no BBs in the system, so I am perfectly okay to do this. And this. There you go, it is working, and with this overlaid footage you can see of it being used in a game post me breaking it. We're going to dive on into what went wrong and how to avoid doing that. For that, I just wanted to quickly say, if you enjoy content like this and want to keep up to date on the SMLE, because there is more content coming, I highly recommend subscribing to the channel and maybe dropping a like and a comment down below. And if you're feeling extra generous, maybe share the video to help the channel get out there a bit more, and hopefully help people who have also broken their SMLEs find my video and see how I fixed it, so they can fix it and enjoy the wonder that is the S&T SMLE. Right, that's enough of me shitting myself out. Let's talk about what went wrong with the rifle. So, bit of background. This broke after, as in 2 minutes after the end of my very first game with the rifle. Before this, I had been playing around, testing it on the range and such. However, I hadn't ever, up until now, reloaded the magazine under stress of playing a game. Now, I know that sounds like quite a pansy excuse, but in the heat of the moment, you do just ram your speed loader as fast as possible to try and load your mags up as quickly as possible. And I'll explain why that was a bad idea in a moment. So, what happened was the game finished, and we were standing around getting ready for the next game. Everyone was reloading, and one of my friends asked for a go with the Lee Enfield. Happy to oblige. I loaded into the rifle one of my freshly bombed up mags that I just loaded at the end of the game, because we were pushing, and gave it to him to rack. And he tried to rack it and couldn't. And I thought, A,
why are you so physically weak?
And B, thought it was another kind of issue I'd been having with it, which was occasionally it would get really hard to cock, which is due to the stock spring that was in it basically kinking and bowing and locking up a bit. Basically, the spring isn't quite right for the cylinder and causing issues there. So I took it off him and went to power through it, as I had done previously when I'd been using it. And effectively what I did was shatter a BB and then ram that into the hop-up chamber and into the nozzle. So what the end results of it was the nozzle was blocked, so it wasn't pushing air down the barrel, and the shards of the BB managed to rip up the stock hot rubber, which is great. But I hear you ask, how the hell did you manage to shatter a BB? That shouldn't happen, shouldn't it? Well, it all comes down to the mechanics of the Lee. Now, it's quite unique in the fact that the magazine that holds the BBs actually is the proper magazine of the rifle, as opposed to being one that sits up here. Now, the upshot of that is that we somehow need to get the BBs from the front of the magazine here to the hop-up chamber, which is up here. As you can see, here is the hop-up adjuster. So that's a couple of inches it's got to do. And the way it does this is that there is a ramp for a BB that runs from the bottom of the hop chamber to the front of the magwell, and then on the cylinder there is a fin that slots in to the top of the mag and is able to push the BB out the front of the mag, up the ramp and into the hop chamber. Now, to be able to do that, the fin has to be able to go over the stack by pushing it down, and then allow the BBs to pop up in front of it and then push them up the ramp. If you overload the mag, like I did, that makes that stack incredibly stiff and hard to push down, which was the resistance we were feeling, was the fin hitting the front of the stack and not being able to force it down. So when I ran it really hard back over it, and then tried to run it forwards, one of those two movements, or the repeated hammering on it, managed to shatter that BB, which was then forced up and into the rifle to cause damage. If I'd been smart, I would have realised that beforehand, dropped the mag, and taken some BBs out. Now, I want to be clear here that yes, this is kind of a flaw with the rifle design, but it is a user error because they do say these are 30 round mags, don't overload them. What did I do? Overload them. So, to be clear, if you have an SMLE and you don't want this to happen, count how many BBs you're loading into your mags and make sure you stick under that 30 limit. Right, that's enough of me being all doomy and gloomy. Let's jump on over to the table and see what I did to fix this. So I'm pretty sure that bit of white you can see in there is part of a shattered BB. We'll find out in due course. Also, this is a nice short weapon, so very easy to work on. He said jokingly. Hopefully, there we go. That's the muzzle cap off. Now, I really hope I don't shatter BBs all that often, because it's going to be a pain if I have to do this every time I want to clear it. So, to know, I did try putting a barrel cleaning on jamming rod down there, but I couldn't get anything to budge. So my suspicion is the broken BB shard is actually in the nozzle of the cylinder.
That is correct.
Yeah, that is a shattered BB. So we definitely had a shattered BB in there. And there is a lot of BB mess that just came out. And yes, I was right. It looks like there is a BB in the nozzle. So I'm going to take out these 4 screws, which should hopefully let me take the kind of rear receiver off from the barrel and hop assembly. So to do that, I'm going to use my screwdriver. There we go. Oh, there's a very munch BB in there. But anyway, let's get this BB out of this nozzle. And now to get that BB out, or that rest of that BB out, let's use a smallish Allen key. Put that down there, and out that pops. Okay, a bit of grime, so let's get cloth. Okay, I think that is most of the particulates cleared out of the nozzle, which is good. And then let's clear all of this up. So we can now get our cylinder around that, hook that into that. Cool, and then we need to drop in our spring guide, which I feel like it's probably going to need to be tapped in. There we go, that's in. So now we should be able to rack it, and just in case, I'm going to fire it in a safe direction. That sounds a lot better than it was. So let's just do a muzzle cover and see how far, let's see if the piston stops. That is not bad. It's not bad at all. It should, in theory, just hinge up and off. There we go. And there's the internal guts of our hop. Now by the looks of it, ah yes, I remembered. I have a jam BB in here. Now one of the things is, I don't think I've got a cleaning rod long enough to actually get to the BBs. That is very jammed in there, so I think what I'll do is disassemble all of this and try and clear it out instead. Because I can't get that to budge. And let's take the feed wrap off. And there, wow, yeah, really. There. Oh, and the hot rubber is, by the looks of it, toast. Okay, right, well. see if we can get the rest of this out. I guess I'll take the hop adjust off. There we go. There we go. I'm wondering if I need to take this cross pin out, pull this whole unit off. Okay, that's the outer barrel off, which is good. That leaves us with the inner barrel. Now why don't you want to come out of your extension? I see, okay. So, because there's so many BBs jammed in the chamber, shows what I was trying to get this out to clear. And my cleaning and unjamming rod doesn't actually clear it. I do have others. I've got the BB out, that dropped the hop-up arm enough to be able to get it out. There is one very munched BB. Hang on, I'll show the camera. Yeah, that's not going to fly well. So what damage has that done internally to my hop chamber? Wow. Oh, there's another one impacted up there. That's never good. Right, so the hop arm is still intact. The hop up rubber looks absolutely screwed. And holy crap, there's another BB in there. I don't know, I'm just... And that one's got... Alright, you know what, I'm getting really annoyed with this. I keep doing this, my bad. I'm going to move the camera view to here. So I should see everything I'm doing now. Right, I found yet another compacted BB in the hop rubber. So I'm pretty sure that is now an X rubber. So I'm going to try and order as similar a rubber as possible so I can tell you the kind of true performance of it. So this is a standard VSR type with a nub. Whether or not I can get a TM one, or I think I can get an Action Army one that looks very similar, so we'll probably go with that. So in terms of damage, other than the hop rubber, the hop up arm itself has got a slight bit of burring on the top. So what I'm going to do is just use a crafting knife to just shave that off the edges so it will run smoothly in the hop unit. Effectively what happened here is, as I was trying to get that hop unit out, I didn't realise that was rubbing up against the barrel extension. But that should be smooth enough now to run. So I will get a replacement hop-up rubber on order, get that installed, and then we'll see how it runs. Right, so future editing Kiwi here. I'm going to confess, I made a bit of a mistake and somehow deleted all the audio files for reassembly. So I'm just going to succinctly conclude to you guys what happened. I got a new Action Army hot rubber. It looks pretty much identical to the original rubber that came out of the Lee Enfield, other than the fact it's not ripped to shreds by shattered BBs. So that's now been fitted, as a couple of these clips will show. The Lee Enfield's been reassembled, and here it is. It's working. This is like a month after I filmed this video, so it's been in use. But I shall now hand over to previous me to tell you that it's fixed and working. I need sleep. So that's it. That's pretty much the end of the video. Here it is, back together and working. I have taken it out and used it in a game day. Did I get many hits with it? 2 definite confirms, which is doing alright for 3 hours of gameplay. Admittedly, it was raining quite hard, and this is shooting at sub a joule, so may have hit more people, but they probably didn't feel it or thought it was a raindrop. Also, I need to get better at understanding. Oh, I can only pull the trigger once before I have to run the bolt again. But I'm in love with it. I love it so much. It's so much fun to use, and it's really, really satisfying when you get that shot on and get a hit. So yes, stay tuned. There is more SMLE content coming. There will be my thoughts, or initial thoughts and opinions on it, coming soon. And later down the line, once I've got more time with it, I will do a full-on review of the S&T SMLE. So that's it. That's the end of the actual video. Although I do have an important thing to say if you're watching this in the near future, as in days, weeks after the upload. If you're watching it beyond that, this is probably less relevant, but may still be depending on what's going on. So, if you're sticking around to watch this, obviously at the moment the world is kind of going to crap, to put it mildly. Putin has invaded the Ukraine and caused so much damage, destruction and loss of life on both sides of this conflict. And I know I have, and that I know I've felt helpless watching this happen through a computer screen thousands of miles away. And I don't know, or I didn't know, how we could help. We now have millions of people fleeing what was once their home across the borders into other countries to get away from the fighting and the destruction, and now there is a way to help. In the comments below I've put a link to Only Airsoft's donation page. Their owners, I think, I'm a bit hazy on that, but part of their team is currently on the Ukrainian-Polish border giving out aid to refugees as they cross across the border into Poland. They've set up a page where you can donate money to, and 100% of that will go to getting food, water, supplies, clothing, whatever's needed to help these people. I think it's a good cause. I know it's not a dedicated charity, but it's something that's being done by the Airsoft community to help the people of Ukraine fleeing this conflict. I just thought I'd tell you guys, so if you, like me, felt somewhat helpless in this situation, that you could at least do something to help these people. Now, I just hope that we resolve this terrible, terrible situation as soon as possible, and that as many lives as possible can be spared from this.